I think we found the leak. In the last episode, I had ordered the wrong brake parts for our 1977 AMC Pacer. We've got to get the right parts in hand and installed. Then we can move on to removing and finding the leak in the radiator. We are back at O'Reilly Auto Parts. We hopefully got the correct caliper that we need this time. Let's go in and get that and get this car back on the road.
For Alan?
Yeah. See if this is the right one. It goes on that way, and this is up. See, it goes on that way, and this part is up. Yep, that is the correct one. That's a good sign. All right, let's go get this put on. Now, when this caliper goes on, the piston goes to the inside, and that banjo bolt right there is facing up, just like the other side. Turns out these calipers are not the same. One has an L and one has an R in the part number. You can see it cast in right there. And I had ordered 2 L's. My mistake. We've got the right one now. We're going to get it installed and get this car on the road again. So we've got the calipers on both sides installed. Now we're going to bleed the brakes. Since there's 2 of us here, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. One up top, pouring some fluid into the reservoir and slowly pumping the pedal. The other person down at the caliper, cracking open that bleeder hose or that bleeder valve and waiting until just fluid comes out. We need to get all the air out of that system. So we're going to start on this side since it is the furthest away. We're going to bleed all the air out of this side, and then we'll go to the other side. Crack that open. Joe is going to slowly pump the pedal, which is going to pump some air and some brake fluid this way. Close the bleeder valve so that when he lifts off the brake pedal, it doesn't suck air back in. And what that'll be doing is slowly pushing brake fluid down this line to this caliper.
Okay, well, good. So we've got what appears to be brakes, we hope. Alan's going to test it out, so God bless Alan.
Yeah, I'm the guinea pig. I get to go out and drive the car and make sure the brakes work. First big test will when we go down the ramp leading out of the museum. Now that we got the brakes done, the tires are back on, we got to get this radiator out. In a prior episode, we had taken it for a drive and noticed that there was a big leak coming out of the radiator. So we checked it out. It's not coming from any of the hoses. It was coming from the body of the radiator itself. So we're gonna have to pull this out, take it down to the shop and get that fixed. Looks like there's just some bolts right along the top here and the fan shroud that hold this radiator in. It's just set down there. There's no ears along the side. So a lot of these radiators back in the day just fit down into a slot, had a cap that went on the top of it. You should be able to just lift it right out once you take that cap off, take the hoses off. Let's give it a try and see what happens. Oops. Boy, they come off easy, huh? So it says here in the shop manual that this should just lift off. And if this is loose, this should just lift out. Okay. All right. And you can actually see where it was wet. There was a leak somewhere right in there. So we're going to take this down to the radiator shop. We're going to have them pressure test it, and I'm willing to bet we find a leak right where that wet spot is, and then we're going to see if we can get it fixed. They may have to re-core it, but let's go down to the radiator shop and see what they have to say. So we got it down here to Radiator Creations. They're gonna take a look, see what's wrong with it, see if it can be repaired. We're gonna do some pressure testing on it as well.
It's right here, looking pretty bad. You can see all the buildup.
All this buildup right here, all this calcium development, that's solder blossom, and the solder is going bad. So technically we don't even have to test it to be able to tell you that your core is shot.
All right.
But
Yeah,
we'll test it just so we
definitely
can get
test it for
some more information on the tanks itself, make sure there's no major damage or cracks showing onto the tanks.
Alright, dude, just keep it so it doesn't fall off. Good at. So we're tightening down these plugs so these things don't shoot off. We're gonna let the pressure build as soon as I put air to it, and then we'll see the leaks after as soon as I put the pressure on. We got one final one, and we'll be ready to test. Alright, should be ready to go ahead and dip. When we test these, sometimes if you don't initially see a leak, usually tap on the headers, and then it should usually break free whatever debris is blocking it in, and then you'll start to see the leaks come out. But I think it's pretty bad to the point where you'll probably just immediately see it. All the leaks come out. All right. Nope, that's the core. I'm gonna situate it a little bit better so you can see it on this side. But you can pretty much see the core. Yeah, is that how it's sounding in the car?
Yep.
Wow. Yep. The mic's gonna fly. There you go. Up around the tubes, but unfortunately it looks like it's going to need new core.
I think it's pretty obvious where the leak is.
Yeah, so I'm going to stand it up so you can see. But pretty much all that buildup you saw, they're all leaking pretty much. There it goes. So tapping it so you can bring out the leaks. Like sometimes this blocks it in so much, all the leaks, that it won't actually start bubbling for me. But once you start tapping it, you'll start seeing it go.
Right here, the bubbles spraying up.
You can pretty much see it all the way right there. If I were to take away at it, it's possible to build back
We're going to see if anybody makes a replacement for this. AMC was pretty parsimonious when they built their cars. They used a lot of common elements all across the board. Like our brake calipers were only $25. We're not going to get that lucky with the radiator, I'm sure, but it might be a common piece.
What model?
Pacer. I did a
If I go through this whole book, I would normally look at these measurements right here.
Right.
And I could probably find one for you. But I have all these to go through.
Gotcha. Okay.
Then we have, if we have to recore it, we have all these different options.
Okay.
These would be the differences.
You see it's much finer and the tubes are closer as opposed to this?
Yeah, this is what you have in there now.
Okay.
So if it was like an everyday driver and you had heating problems, we would probably consider maybe going to something like this. Or if you want to keep it standard looking, you can go with this and add this style too, which adds another 15 to 20% cooling. So there's all kinds of different options we can do.
Different ways to go. Okay. So we're going to see if there's something that's compatible. There's a lot of different radiators to dig through. AMC used a lot of parts from different cars, so it's likely that this is cross-references to another car, and there might be one that is ready to go, just a replacement. If not, what we're going to have to do is re-core this radiator. It requires taking the tanks off, building a new core for it, and then soldering it all back together, cleaning it up, pressure testing it. We're going to wait for a call back from the shop here to see which is the way we got to go. But either way, we're going to get this Pacer on the road again.